Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba Explains Sikhism. Kaar Seva is a major important ingredient of Sikhism and it emphasizes excellent qualities, dignity of labor, as well as dedication, lack of discrimination. That's important. From the king to the lowest level of people, they used to go and work as laborers. This is voluntary contribution of physical labor towards cleaning, construction of sacred temples and texts. And it holds a special significance in Sikh tradition. Gurus in Sikh history have always taught of altruistic service, which was preached by them as a way of God realization. As on page of Guru Granth is mentioned very clearly, one who renders selfless service attains to the Lord's supremacy. Now this word Kaar Seva is basically a combination of Sanskrit and Arabic. The Arabic word yata, meaning to go to the bottom, to make deep well, to go down, and it is thus applied successfully to the work of dredging and removing by physical labor. And what does it remove? Sedimentary bed, rocks, mud and garbage which collect at the bottom of a srovar, that is the tank, the sacred pool. Over the years that happens, and then Kaar Seva takes place, and the Sikh male, female, old, young, high or low consider it a privilege to participate in this manual labor. So dignity of labor is basically ingrained in Sikh religion, and no job is too mean. Now, Kaar Seva can be interpreted in two ways, as I said, in Sanskrit as well as in Persian. Though the word is derived from Arabic, but that was further derived from the Persian word. And the Persian word means to act. Kar. Similarly, in Sanskrit also it means work, operation, labor, service. So Kaar Seva may mean physical act, labor, or service, altruistic, performed. Moreover, in Sikhs it is used for specific purpose, that is building, repairing, renovating of gurdwaras, temples, and is a community work. So, Seva again is service. Kar is work. Now, Seva basically is selfless service, and it is basically involving helping others without the hope of any reward or personal gain. No selfish interest is involved. And the Sikh religion says, perform this service to a variety of ways, including to help the people, Sangat, the community, local community, and now it's doing so internationally. And in demonstration, basically service, Kaar Seva specifically and Seva in particular, the Sikh believe in equality, the importance of all the people. Can you believe that at one time the Maharaja Patala himself participated in Kaar Seva at Amritsar? And so were his henchmen, so were his subjects. And when they saw the king doing it, their enthusiasm was unbounded. It also shows love for the God. This is because God is present in everyone. And so respecting and helping people means helping God. It helps Sikhs become Gurmukh, The Sikhs have two types of human beings, Gurmukh, Manmukh. Gurmukh is who has the face of God, kindly, saintly. Manmukh is selfish, egoist, proud, haughty, self-centered, and all that. So it helps Sikhs become Gurmukh and it stops them from being a Manmukh because the focus is on the need of others rather than yourself. The sense of empathy, which I talk about a lot, is ingrained in this concept of Kaar Seva. And it helps Sikhs move away from the vices of lust, greed, anger, attachment to the material possessions. You are a king, you are a ruler, and then you are working as a laborer. There is attachment. And that is why on page 286 of Guru Granth Sahib is written, one who performs selfless service without thought of reward shall attain God and his strength. Now there are three types of seva. Kaar Seva is the fourth type. And these three types of seva are equally important. First seva is tan, second is man, third is tan. Tan is physical, which is ingrained in Kaar Seva, but then generic is seva, tan seva, physical labor, but specifically when it's for the building or renovation of a holy place, then it becomes Kaar Seva, because it's seva with work, otherwise tan is there. Then the man, service with the mind, intellectual, thought. And third is dhan, with the wealth, share your wealth. So socialism, the concept, to each according to his need, from each according to his ability. That concept was in fact ingrained in this thought of tan, man, tan. And the Sikhism tries to complete all three aspects of seva on a regular basis. However, depending on their individual circumstances, a Sikh might be able to perform only one type of seva more than the others. For example, for me, if somebody is to ask me to do tan seva, it may not be possible because of my physical disabilities. But man seva and tan seva, I can afford, I can do, and so that's what every Sikh is supposed to do. As a matter of fact, if I was to tell you that every Sikh is supposed to contribute 10% of his income to charity, they call it daswand, 10%, and that charity is not to be talked about, and you don't take the tax benefit for that. That's the benefit. It is just charity born out of the sense of empathy that there is another person who can be as capable and who might be more capable than you are, but he needs some assistance. So this is what they call quiet service. And if you go to the Gurdwara, when the people make the offering, there's a golak. So you put the money in. Nobody knows what you have done. It's your own sense of elevation and sublimation which makes you donate money. Now, therefore, in order to give a chance to maximum number, now why Kaar Seva? You can always hire people, and the Gurdwaras are lush with money, let me tell you, because of this daswand and the charities that the Sikhs give. There's no shortage of money, and they can easily hire labor. Secondly, they can use mechanical contrivances, but they don't. Kaar Seva is always used by simple digging implements and baskets. People carry that mud on their head. They can really dredge it, but they won't do it because the chance has to be given to the maximum number of people to be able to reap the benefit of this service. And how the Kaar Seva starts? It starts with a prayer. The Panch Pyaras, they pray, they offer ardas, the prayer, the supplicatory prayer to God for assistance, for the successful completion of the work. Then These Panch Pyaras dig the first clods, carry them in a basket on their hands, and start singing at the same time. When Kaar Seva is being held, continuous singing of the Shabads of Gurbani is a feature that cannot be missed. So the musical vibrations, the physical labor, and the joy of working, that is a mesmerizing effect. I've seen Kaar Seva at least 4 or 5 times, and I can tell you, this is an experience. And there's in a place where Kaar Seva is being, the place hums with activity, combined with hymn singing, a simple sonorous repetition of Satnam Sri Vaheguru. Satnam is true name. So God's name is truth. And you would say Satnam and Vaheguru all over, even when they're not singing. God, their name is truth. So truth, it becomes a part of the Sikh philosophy. And when the operations conclude, then again Thanksgiving Ardas is offered, and Kaar Seva operations come to an end. As a matter of fact, I've seen this at least 4 times, twice in Golden Temple, one in Gurdwara Dukhanwaran, and one at Anandpur Sahib. Now, what happened? Why did it start, this Srovar? First thing, it started then the time of Guru Ramdas. This Amritsar area was unlined, rain-fed. The Srovar was rain-fed, and it started getting shallow. So when his son, Guru Arjan Dev, came into power, to the seat of Gurus, he took up the first Kaar Seva. So first Kaar Seva was performed when Guru Arjan Dev was there, and this involved not only deepening of the Srovar, the holy tank, but also brick lining of the banks with steps leading down. Now, of course, marble and everything. So it was a plain, unlined, ordinary pond. So this was deepened, brick lining on the banks, steps leading down. And all that was done with the people who were not professional builders, construction workers, no. The common people did it. And then in the Srovar was constructed Hari Mandir, the temple which stands today. Then a causeway was built connecting the shrine to the bank. And this project continued for years and was executed primarily with voluntary labor. That was the first. Then, with the shifting of Guru's seat to Kiratpur and Chak Nanki in the Shivalik foothills, the Kaar Seva is recorded to have taken place not for a century. There was no Kaar Seva for about 100 years. But in 1746, then it was done again. What happened was that Lakhpat Rai became advisor, the revenue minister to Yahya Khan, governor of Lahore, not General Yahya Khan, but that was much before, as I said, in 1746. And these two people started a campaign of persecution against the Sikhs, and it was a revenge. Lakhpat Rai's brother, Jaspat Rai, had been killed in an encounter. So he wanted to kill them, and the result was a Holocaust. They call it Chota Galugara, the minor Holocaust. He destroyed Golden Temple, and the Srovar, the holy tank, was filled with debris. Now then, the following year, 1947, Sikhs regained control and started Kaar Seva. The Srovar was cleaned, filled up again, and in May 1757, Jahar Khan, the army commander, again came to destroy. But by that time, Taimur Shah had come, son of Durrani, and Taimur and Jahan Khan were driven out of Punjab by Marathas first, then by Sikhs. So again, the Kaar Seva was held. And this was done, curiously, the Afghans, 200 prisoners of war, which were taken, they expressed a wish that they wanted to atone for their sins because they had destroyed a holy place. So Sikh volunteers were joined with the Afghan prisoners of war. 5 years later, on the eve of Baisakhi of 762, Ahmad Shah Durrani wanted to crush Sikhs. So this is called Vadda Galugara, the major Holocaust, when thousands and thousands of the innocent people were killed. And he blew up Harmandir with gunpowder, and with rubbish was the fate of being dumped into the holy text. Again, Jassa Singh Ahluwalia, he became the commander of the Sikhs, and in May 762, he attacked Sirhind, the Foyd, the leader of the Mughals, or rather Duranis, Afghanis, was at that time Zain Shah, and he was defeated and he left. So Zain Khan, the Foyda, then he gave an indemnity of 50,000 rupees to the Sikhs. $50,000 can today be deemed to be $5 billion minimum. And then Sikhs again reoccupied, and this became a tradition. Once again, Kaar Seva was indulged in, and it was continued. Later on, it was concretized and made into a ceremony under Gyani Gurmukh Singh in 1842. Gyani Gurmukh Singh set up a system that all gurdwaras need renovation. By that time, in 1923, SDPC had been established, and then, it became a regular routine, regular cleaning. So Kaar Seva became almost a biannual feature. Now, thus, the whole thing became a ritualistic practice, but the basic sentiment continued. There are a number of people who participated in that, people like Gurmukh Singh, Sant Kilakri. And I remember once I was a very small kid. My father had taken me to Golden Temple, and I could see, the elite of Sikhs, religious, political, businessmen, all of them, living together, staying together, working together. It was doctors, engineers, bureaucrats, political leaders, intellectuals. So this tradition of Sikhism is even today alive and teaches Sikhs the value of equality, humility, and dignity of manual labor. As a matter of fact, this religiously encapsulated system is essential to inculcate in human beings a sense of dedication, a sense of fellow feeling, camaraderie, and service without any tangible reward. And that makes human beings better human beings. That makes them part of the whole world, part of the cosmos, part of the creation. There can be no better understanding of human psychology than working together without any hope of any reward whatsoever. And this concept is today ingrained and remains till date a distinct feature of Sikh religion. Thank you.